Right now, deep inside your skull, your hippocampus is refusing to lock in what you just learned, and the neuroscientists who dedicated their careers to it admit they cannot stop it. You can study for 4 hours. You can highlight every line. By morning, 70% is gone, not misplaced, erased. But there is one rule that interrupts this, and you will know exactly what it is by the end. Here is what is happening to you, and you cannot feel any of it. Every time you sit down to absorb something new, a skill, a formula, a concept, your hippocampus, your brain's filing system, is supposed to act as a librarian. It takes raw experience and converts it into long-term memory through a process called long-term potentiation. Two neurons fire together, a protein bridge forms between them, and that information gets a permanent home. That is how learning is designed to work, except your own biology is running a counter-operation against you right now. The damage it is doing has been measured in millimeters. Researchers have the scans. They can watch it happen in real time, and they are clear. They cannot stop it while it is occurring. The moment you experience even mild cognitive pressure, a deadline, a hard concept, an exam you have not prepared for, your adrenal glands release cortisol. And cortisol does not slow the hippocampus gently. It attacks it. It physically blocks the receptor sites where those protein bridges form. The chemical handshake that creates a permanent memory cannot complete. The file never saves, and it compounds. Sustained cortisol elevation does not just impair memory formation in the moment. Over months and years, it physically shrinks hippocampal volume. The filing system itself gets smaller. The neuroscientists who mapped this, the teams behind the original cortisol receptor studies and the brain imaging data that followed, are not being alarmist. The numbers are consistent. The effect is real, and most people living under chronic stress are walking around with a memory system measurably smaller than it should be, actively fighting every new thing they are trying to hold. The researchers who discovered this mechanism are unambiguous about one thing. There is no pharmacological fix, no supplement, no real-time protocol that neutralizes cortisol's grip on your hippocampus while you are sitting at your desk. They can describe the block in precise molecular detail, the glucocorticoid receptor cascade, the BDNF suppression, the LTP failure, and then they tell you they cannot reverse it on demand. The doctors who discovered exactly how your brain sabotages learning have nothing to prescribe. That silence is not modesty. It is the honest conclusion of decades of research with no clean solution. We are still getting to what actually interrupts it. Here is what nobody puts in the productivity guides. The strategies you were given: reread your notes, highlight the important passages, review the material before bed, are not neutral habits. They raise cortisol. Every time you re-expose yourself to material you already scanned and realize you understand it less than you thought, your brain registers that as a threat. Not a learning signal, a threat. Cortisol spikes. The block tightens. The very act of reviewing what you thought you knew is making the problem worse. And here is the piece that contradicts everything you were told. Meditation is routinely recommended to lower stress before studying. But for people under high cognitive load, traditional mindfulness can spike cortisol in the short term, in the exact pre-session window where that spike does the most damage to the hippocampus. The advice designed to help you is, for many people, priming the sabotage. High performers figured out something the productivity industry never emphasizes. Not more input. Forced output. Close the material. Every page, every tab, every note. Then write down from memory everything you just absorbed. Not to grade yourself. Not to catch what you missed. Just to force your hippocampus to reach back. Because retrieval is the one signal that tells your brain this information is worth protecting. Long-term potentiation actually strengthens during retrieval attempts, even failed ones. The strain of trying to remember and partially failing is not wasted effort. It is the workout. Every time you pull something back successfully, you deepen the protein bridge. Every time you strain and fail, you prime it to form more strongly on the next attempt. This is called the testing effect. It has been replicated in over 200 independent studies. The researchers who found it are not debating whether it works. They are debating why almost no one uses it. Why the standard advice reread, highlight, review persists despite consistently producing worse retention than one session of forced recall. Tonight, after this video ends, do not open your notes. Open a blank page. Write everything you remember. Give it 5 minutes. The discomfort you feel, that reaching, that strain, is consolidation happening in real time. Tomorrow morning, do it again. Cold, from scratch. The window between 16 and 24 hours after initial learning is when sleep-driven consolidation peaks. What you retrieve in that window gets priority filing. What you do not retrieve gets scheduled for deletion. But the hippocampus is not doing this alone. There is a second structure that begins working against your ability to learn before you ever sit down, one that is harder to detect, harder to interrupt, and one that the hippocampus actually takes orders from. Most people have no idea it is already running the show.